I'm thankful for the opportunity to perhaps explain it so that the idiots who have continued to assume that I have broken my word would be clear. I said if he won the presidency, I'll leave Nigeria on exile. So let me clear that up. For him to have won, the people would have had to have voted for him. We didn't vote for him. He stole the presidency. Yakubu and INEC sold him the presidency. The presidency is not an expression of the people's will. It is an expression of the debauchery of INEC and the height of our judicial corruption. He did not win the presidency. If I had left, I would have been sanitizing and deodorizing a skunk. If nothing else, I rise and fall by my word. And when I said that I would live on exile if this man won, it was so that people will know that I do not believe Nigerians to be depraved enough to be possessed of the idiocy to vote somebody like him into power. And they did not. Anybody who prefers to delude themselves can continue to delude themselves, but Tinubu knows, INEC knows, the judiciary knows, and so do a lot of Nigerians, that Tinubu did not win the presidency. He stole it. So I'm not leaving because he did not win. It's that simple. That I'm still here is in rebuke of him. It actually cost me a lot more to stay here. It's not just the multiple level of danger that I face on a daily basis by remaining in Nigeria. Because if they will be planning my murder 3 years ago when they were not in power, one of his goons in Lagos State was the one sat at the head of the plot to kill me. They are the ones in power now. Ordinarily, I should run now. But I'm here. I am here because he did not win. He knows it. And every man and his dog in Lagos State knows it. He was beaten resoundingly in Lagos on the 25th of February. He couldn't even make 15% in Lagos. Segun Agbaje, the INEC commissioner in Lagos State, cannot produce the form EC8A for Lagos State up till today. I was the person who was charged by the Obi legal team to collect the election material from INEC. He could not, up until today, INEC in Lagos State cannot give us the form EC8A, which is the polling unit level result. Because they know he lost. He lost woefully. He was thoroughly rejected across the length and breadth of the state that he has held hostage. For 24 years, as at that time, he lost. So how much more the other parts of Nigeria? Let them continue fooling themselves. He has snatched it, grabbed it, but he can't run with it. And that's why we are all in the mess that we are in today. So yeah, if he had won, if Nigerians had been foolish enough to have voted for him, I would have left. It wouldn't be because of him. It would be out of protest that I could be stuck with such evil people who would have found the grace to vote for somebody like him. But as I have said, they did not vote for him. They rejected him. He has forced himself on us. And we can't do much about that. But I'm not going to legitimize his stealing by leaving. He didn't win.
But you see, for Peter Obi to become the next president of Nigeria, the first thing that must be done is a solid structure. A solid one. I'll leave a link in the description in case you want to join to create the Abundance Party of Nigeria. Number 2 thing that must happen before Peter Obi can be the next president of Nigeria is we must have electoral reforms. Part of the things that happened that made it possible for Peter Obi to get rigged out in 2023 was INEC's partisanship or apparent partisanship. The fact that there was a glitch played a very huge role. At the end of the day, we ended up where we are now. So if Peter Obi is going to be the next president of Nigeria, aside from having a solid structure, the next thing that must happen is we must push for electoral reforms. The way, the speed, the manner in which the National Assembly passed the National Anthem law, the speed at which they passed the Appropriation Act, that same speed, we need to pressure them, starting now. There's no time. Pressure them to make it compulsory. Amend the Electoral Act 2022 to make it compulsory that INEC must electronically transmit election results from the polling units to the INEC servers, and then collation must be electronic so that we are seeing it in real time. We must push for this reform, and there's no time. This can be achieved because Labour Party has some senators, they have some lawmakers in this national state house, House of Representatives, even in the state houses of assemblies. So what do they need to do? They need to push this bill. Senator Eriti Kingibe and others need to push this bill now in the Senate, in the House of Representatives, so that we can have it amended and have these reforms. Because without these reforms, it is not impossible for Peter Obi to defeat Tinubu still, but it will make the journey, the ride, an interesting one. For me, even if this number 2 does not happen, I still know of a way that Peter Obi will defeat Tinubu in 2027. So the journey is still there. The journey of Tinubu to defeat in 2027, still intact, with or without number 2, which is electoral reforms. But we must push for electoral reforms so that the process can be seamless, so that we can all enjoy it as we see Tinubu go down the road of defeat in 2027. Electoral reforms, compulsory. We must push for it, and we must start now. Now, after a good structure, the electoral reforms, what is the third thing? We must contend with Tinubu's propaganda machine. That's number 3. There are a lot of propaganda that are ongoing right now. A lot of propaganda. Number 1 is the Igbo must go propaganda. Number 2 is the IPOB propaganda. There's a propaganda there. Number 3 is the Peter Obi is weak. A weak person cannot rule Nigeria. That's another propaganda there. The division between Muslims and Christians, that's another propaganda there. The division between Igbos and other tribes, Igbos and Edos, and all of these things that we have seen, all of the talk of people saying, oh, some people should be poisoned. All these are propaganda, and they are targeted. They are targeted at Peter Obi for the 2027 presidential election. So if Peter Obi must defeat, and which he will, in 2027, we have to take care of the third thing, which is Tinubu propaganda machine. We have to come up with counter propaganda for every propaganda that they will throw up. We have to come up with it. It is very, very important. We'll subsequently do videos that will take care of each of these, but let's just run through them for now. Remember, we are looking at Tinubu's journey to defeat in 2027. We have looked at 3 items, 3 possible roadblocks. We're looking at the 4th one right now, and that is we must overcome Tinubu's intimidation machine. We must overcome Tinubu's intimidation machine. Right now, the intimidation of thugs. The intimidation of thugs is there. The intimidation of power of incumbency is there. What can we do? Will it be business as usual with the way we have had the likes of MC Oluomo coming out to do the stuff that he did, that we had even traditionalists come out to declare Oro, to do the stuff that he did? We had thugs snatching ballot boxes and burning ballot papers and attacking supporters and even threatening people not to come out in places that are perceived to be strongholds of Peter Obi. All these are intimidation tactics. So, the 4th thing that Peter Obi must do to overcome this 4th roadblock is to come up with measures to overcome Tinubu's intimidation machine.